Hey everybody. I've had kind of a weekend of hobby ADD. I've kind of done a lot of random stuff here and there. Um, got a lot of stuff done, so let's talk about what I've been doing. First of all, I started painting my Cybork Mek. This is mainly just metal. I just did a pretty much an overbrush of 10 bits, then a dry brush of bolt gun, and a dry brush of chainmail so far. Really not going to need to do a whole lot else. I don't know what else to do with the metal. I have lots of pigments and rust and stuff like that. I'm going to pick out the details. Of course, the wires are going to be painted different colors. These things are going to be glowy. I don't know if I'm going to do some OSL on them or not. Probably not at first, because these get painted, at least done, playable within a week or so. What I am going to do is I'm not going to do a normal skin. I'm going to make the skin completely different. What I'm going to do is kind of make him look like since he's so much cyborgy, like a cyborg, I'm going to make the skin pallid, kind of like a servitor. So what I'm going to do is kind of go with a pale gray, green, purplish tone on the skin. This is kind of just a test bit I did. Still a little too gray, not much green, so I still have to work on it, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do quite yet. But it's mostly gray with just a hint of green, which is kind of what I was looking for. I wanted a little more green than that. So I might, because I started out with Ormagon purple and kind of built up to gray, I might just instead start with graying and just add a little bit of purple to it instead. So I just need to change the way I painted this. What else have I done? I know this interests a lot of people, but I did finish building this for the most part. I got some clear parts adhesive. This stuff here. It's kind of hard to work with. It's very liquidy. It's very runny, so it takes a lot of work to get everything glued down, but it works. And it dries completely clear. There's actually some glue on the edges of the windows, but you can't really tell because it's completely clear. So if you're going to use it for like your vendettas or anywhere else you want the clear windows, I would definitely recommend getting that. It's, as I said, it's very hard to work with. You have to clamp the stuff down, you have to hold it down, tape it down, whatever. Let it dry completely before doing anything with it, but it does work. Most of the weekend though has been spent assembling night goblins. And so I built a full unit of 40 night goblins with spears. I got a couple netters. It's a combination of not black reach, skull pass guys and regular guys. A couple netters here, but I did make a couple unit fillers I want to show off. First, there's this guy. It's almost done. He's not quite yet, but he's going to be a mushroom farmer. And what I'm going to do here is cut the top of the spear off, cut the tip of the spear off, and give him a rake. So he's going to be a mushroom farmer. I got some mushrooms growing up there. And the other guy I made was this guy, which I'm really proud of, which is a goblin making a snow angel. See, the shield's not glued down yet, obviously. I will admit, I didn't come up with this. I actually found this online and copied it. This actually took quite a bit of work. First, it was drilling and carving and sanding out the bows and the hand weapon from the two hands, so he's not holding anything. Then originally I had the gray part, the gray stuff, sitting on top of the base, but then it was just way too high and it really looked out of place in the unit. So I cut it off the base and then cut the top off the base, leaving just the rim. And then it slid in from the bottom really well. I filled in the gaps with the liquid green stuff, and it's much better this way. It looks really in place in the unit. He's not glued down for painting. Neither is the shield. That's why the shield's not glued down. And then of course I had to sit down and file and cut the hands off the shield and the spear so they could be sitting there in the snow. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I think it looks really cool. I wish I would have come up with it, but I have to admit that I didn't. So 40 goblin spearmen. I did unit fillers because I wanted some night goblins to make my second Mangler squig. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing this weekend. Let me show you something I did. You know, the GW came out with those new emery boards, and I normally don't like emery boards because They're not really made for wet sanding, so I wanted something I could wet sand with, which was with you can with the GW ones, but I didn't want to spend that much money, so basically I made my own. So what I did was just take a piece of plastic card and some 320 grit wet sanding paper and just glued it down with super glue. This is 060 plastic, and it turns out it's not flexible enough to be useful, so I need to make some more with some 040 plastic card and give those a try, because I wanted to be able to flex it over the wingtips of the Barracuda while I was sanding, which is why I made them, and they're just not flexible enough to do that. So I used them on all the flat areas. They've been really abused, and I used them a lot because it's really cool. It works really well, and it's really cheap because, you know, you can get, if you go to like a paint store and auto parts store, you can get a sheet of sandpaper for like $1 or less. And it's a good quality wet sanding paper. The important thing is I always use wet sanding paper especially on resin. I never dry sand resin. But you could just use regular sandpaper if you want to, and that's even cheaper. And you just glue it down and make your own emery boards. It's even with the plastic card, it's going to be cheaper than actually buying emery boards, because, you know, you get 3 giant sheets of plastic of 040 plastic card for like $3 or $4, whatever it is. Sandpaper's $1, and that's more emery boards than you can probably use in a lifetime. And you can just throw them out when you're done. So yeah, these are my homemade emery boards. Once I get around to getting back to the Barracuda, I'll make the 040 ones and see what happens. So that's going to be it for my ADD weekend video. So I can concentrate on any one project. I got a lot done. I'm really happy. I'm going to put some pictures on my blog. Talk to you guys later.